Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to be reviewing episode 1 of the Space Museum, which is the Space Museum. I liked part 1. Now, I've always heard this story's reputation is part 1 is really good because it has a really good setup, asks a lot of questions, and then it just kind of falls off from there. It's what I've always heard. When I was getting ready to watch it, I was like, it's 4 parts. I can get through 4 parts. But then I was like, or is it 6 parts? Is it 4 or 6 parts? Dear God, don't tell me it's 6 parts. I can't get through 5 dull parts. Luckily, when I put it in, it is 4 parts. I was like, thank goodness. Thank goodness. I was a little concerned. I did like episode 1 because this is definitely one of those episodes where you spend a lot of time going, what the heck is going on? You know, stuff is happening and you're just like, there's a lot of being confused, coming up with theories, that's not right, coming up with other theories, which is good, it's fun, it's interesting. It definitely kept me engaged because my mind was sitting there going, this is what's happening. Oh wait, no, this is what's happening. Like, I was quick to notice they were in their regular clothes, and I was like, okay, did they just do that because it's the next episode and they're not going to explain that and they're just suddenly in their regular clothes? But then, you know, it actually gets brought up in the episode. I'm like, okay. And then they're looking outside at what is very obviously model work. Like, I thought it was too obviously model work. I actually wondered if it was in story a model they were seeing and not realizing it. Like, the camera was zoomed in on an actual model. Like, I thought it might be a very meta thing, kind of like in The Rescue when Kilo Khan or whatever his name was, you know, the monster. I was like, okay, that's obviously a guy in a suit, but it's classic Doctor Who. But then it actually turns out to be a guy in the suit. And I'm never going to get over how meta that is. I love The Rescue. I thought it was kind of like that here. You know, it looks like a model shot, and for it to actually turn out to be a model shot. And then when they actually walked out, you know, on the plane, I'm like, okay, it's not. And then he's like, I wonder what happened to all those buildings we saw. And you see Ian do this. I actually figured maybe they were standing on the model. I thought maybe it was still a model they'd seen and the doctor had like stepped on it and he was about to point it out. So it turned out not to be a model shot, but I was sitting there for the longest time wondering if I was going to have a meta moment about that. Like it was going to have this meta thing where it actually had been a model shot. So I enjoyed that. And then when Ian points out they're not leaving footprints in the sand, that was pretty neat. Wondering if it was like some kind of optical illusion or something. Seeing the Dalek in the Space Museum was cool. Their hands passing through objects, which was, I think, a neat effect done pretty well for Classic Who. You know, seeing the TARDIS with their hands passing through it. And then when they spotted themselves, you know, on display, that's gotta be chilling, you know, to turn around and see a display of yourself. And it's not like a wax figure, it's you. You're like, you know, that would be unnerving. That'd be really, I understand why Barbara's like, what? I mean, she's doing like the 60s equivalent of that, which is, huh? So that's pretty neat. And then the doctor, I like seeing even the doctor like, what the heck is going on around here? You know, the first Doctor version of that. You know, he's utterly perplexed while he's slowly putting it together. I love that whole conversation about the fourth dimension and jumping a time track and everything being off. You know, Vicky dropping the glass of water and it shooting back up into her hand. And so when everything does catch up, you know, the footprints in the sand appear and you know, they freeze for a second before, you know, being able to feel the cold and stuff. And, of course, them on display disappears. Just like I enjoyed when the fact no one could see them, no one could hear them, but they couldn't hear the other people talking either. That was a really good setup. There was a lot of, what is going on here? I did like that. Again, I hear the story kind of drops off from here. I don't know. That's what I've always been told. Because I don't really know a lot of what happens in the Space Museum. I think this is the one that has, like, the robot first Doctor in it. That's very obviously not played by William Hartnell. So I'm told. But other than that, I really don't know much. I think this is probably the one where Hartnell hides in the TARDIS at one point. I've seen that scene of him, you know, kind of giggling when he pokes his head out of it. Very famous shot. I did enjoy episode 1. It really got my brain clicking because I was constantly trying to figure out what was going on and making theories about what was happening. And that was a lot of fun. I can at least say, whatever happens in the other 3 episodes, that I did enjoy episode 1. And part of it's just because it is so creative. I like when Doctor Who does different things. Like when it does stuff other TV shows don't do. And what happens in episode 1 is not something you see very often. I think it's very clever. Once again, playing with the whole time and time travel aspect, which I like. And just being Doctor Who doing its own thing, which I like. So I did very much enjoy episode 1, The Space Museum. We'll see where it goes from here. So I want to know what you think of episode 1 of The Space Museum. Comment down below and let me know other things to do. Click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out. I also have a Patreon that does help me keep bills paid. If you like what I do and would like to contribute to what I do, there's a link to that down in the description below. Several different tiers to choose from with different rewards and stuff like that. I also want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons like Stephen Crane and Colin Coney and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their continued support as I do the support of all of my patrons. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review. And I also have a link to my Amazon wish list down there as well. And I should be trying to get a region-free Blu-ray player probably next month in January, which I guess by the time y'all see this might be January. That way I can watch the Quatermass and the Pit Blu-ray that Michael sent, because that is oddly enough region locked. First time I've ever gotten a Blu-ray that's region locked. And so I can watch the Blake's 7 DVDs that Fly Attractor sent, because I've been wanting to go through that as well. So that is in the works. Most importantly though, thank you for watching.